And Carol, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. Carol's going to introduce our guests.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to introduce this session. My home village, Arlington Neighborhood Village, has hosted a number of HomeFit sessions with AARP. They've always been standing room only sessions, and they've been in a big room. So it's a great program, and very happy also because AARP has been so supportive of the Village Network and the Village Movement. So we're always happy to be working with AARP. We have two subject matter experts talking to us today about this subject. I think everyone is aware that the AARP HomeFit program is really a premier program that helps people evaluate their homes from a safety and a mobility standpoint to enable them to make adjustments to remain safely in their homes as long as possible. So the two people we have with us today, first of all, Karen Kafantaris. She has been with AARP Michigan for nearly 20 years. She's the Associate State Director for Livable Communities, which means that she's leading the Michigan Age-Friendly Communities work statewide. She's also the co-creator of the HomeFit program. So we have one of the original starters here to talk to us about this program, which is exciting. Diane Bright has a degree in occupational therapy and a master's in access and inclusive design. She advocates internationally for inclusive design for public and private spaces. And her company, Alliance Therapy Access Answers, specializes in inclusive home design and assessments. She's a member of the Executive Council for AARP in Michigan, and she is also an instructor for the HomeFit program. So very happy to have Karen and Diane with us and look forward to hearing about the new improved HomeFit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Diane and I are very excited to be here with everybody today. And this will be the first time that the HomeFit program has been given, the brand new one. It's just hot off the press. Last week it was finalized. So can you do the next slide, Diane?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
So
Steve
pardon me?
Steve's running the slideshow for you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. AARP, this program was initially designed to help people. Well, it was initially designed because AARP likes to do surveys. And one of the surveys that we regularly did was about whether people wanted to stay in the home they currently lived in. And typically anywhere between 80 and 90% of people would say they wanted to stay in the home they currently lived in. So HomeFit was created to help people look at their home and determine what is it that I might need to do when I'm living there in order to stay there safely as I age. So the workshop is committed, and AARP is committed to helping you make a home comfortable, safe, and great fit for not just older adults, but people of all ages. All right. So what are we talking about? You go back. We're going to talk about the benefits of making your home fit. We're going to talk about universal design and the elements of universal design that you can use in your home. And then we're going to take you room through room, basically, of the home and talk about making it home fit. So now we can go to the next slide. All right, so I do want to mention that there are a couple of companion pieces to the HomeFit program. One of those is the HomeFit guide, which also has just been revamped. And the HomeFit guide and the other pieces are available on the AARP website. You can go to aarp.org/homefit and download the HomeFit guide and the other pieces. One is on resources, the other one piece is on bathrooms, and one piece is on helping you figure out your planning, assisting with planning your HomeFit changes. So those are all brand new pieces that are a little different than the ones we had before. All right, so imagine if a home could be made suitable for anybody of any age, of any physical ability, or despite any changes that happen throughout life. So that's part of the lifelong home, is creating a home that is good throughout your lifespan. So we want to share with you, and helping you to be able to recognize how a home can be modified to support your changing needs and lifestyles at any age. And the reality is, many people don't know the things that are out there that are available to them to help them stay in their home. We want to be able to help you determine, or help you understand and to determine what modifications are important to you to continue living the lifestyle that you choose. And then to distinguish between the modifications that are more of a DIY versus those that you should leave to a professional. Because there are definitely some that you need to have a professional. Next slide. All right. So if you could, in the chat, share with Diane and I, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word home? And if let's see if anybody shares with us.
No one.
A safe space, an apartment, comfort, family, shelter, respite, sanctuary, friends, place where family resides together, cozy and comfortable, all those things, happiness, I love that one, safe and nurturing, all of those things are what people think of when you think of home. Now, I want to ask another question to put in chat. Can you tell us why you would like to stay in the home you currently live in? Because when I ask folks who are in an in-person audience versus a virtual audience, people will say all kinds of things like, it's close to everything, or it has all my memories here. This is where my children grew up. Yep, so gardening, personal control of my life, don't want to move, it's such a hassle, comfort and independence are some of the things that you all are saying. Yeah, I've had people say everything from, I never want to give up sitting in the morning on my deck watching the birds. So, all right, so let me close chat here. All right, and for probably all of us, it's those personal touches that changes a house to a home. So next slide, please. All right, so some of the things that we are going to talk about today, we're going to give you things that cost not a whole lot of money, that are more DIY, and there's things that we're going to talk about that are a little more money. And so the reason we are talking about the cost of not staying in your home is that some of the things, sometimes people balk. A stair lift, which we would recommend for somebody who all of their only bathroom is on the second floor, or all their bedrooms are on the second floor. And if that's what's going to be keeping you from staying in your home, then the cost of, say, assisted living at $4,000 to $6,000 a month, or independent living, which is about the same cost, or a nursing home, $7,000 to $10,000 a month, really becomes that stair lift really becomes a good deal. And if you wanted to look up and see what any of these costs are for these nursing home or whatever in your state, then you can go to the Genworth Financial website, and they have a chart. You just put in your state, and that comes up with how much the average for your state is. All right, the next slide, please. And we're going to turn it over to Diane to talk about universal design.
Hello there. Nope. I'm not on.
Yes, you are. You just can't see
Oh,
yourself.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Sorry about that, guys. Hi, I'm Diane, and talk to you about a term that you're going to hear quite often in this arena, which is universal design. Basically, universal design is what the HomeFit program and guide was all about. It's a concept that we should create spaces and products that are inclusively designed so that the product or the space itself can fit the needs of all people. So whether you have, you're tall, you're short, you're thin, you're heavy, you can use wheeled mobility to get around, you use a cane, you're a toddler. All the things that are in that design process are made so that it is the best use of that product and space for everybody that needs to use it. Next slide. Here we go. So let's look at this picture. And I'm going to ask you to go ahead and go into the chat if you'd like to. I'm going to talk over you so we can get into some of these slides quickly. But the initial reaction to this image, let's give some thoughts into the chat. What I see when I see here is something that stops people from doing things. What it really shows us is that this particular house cannot be accessed by everybody who might want to visit, who might want to live there. It stops people from getting there. I like to use the analogy of how you feel when you're going down a familiar road, you're trying to get to an appointment, and there's a detour. The road is blocked. You can't go through. Your immediate reaction to that is that one of frustration. How am I going to get to my appointment on time? Where is this going to take me? Same thing when you're trying to use something in your house or get into a house that you can't get into, or visit someplace that you can't get into. Those are the kind of reactions that people are going to have. Our concept is that you fix your house so that you can stay there, get in and get out safely if you have to, and also be a visitable home, a home that people can come to no matter what their capabilities are. One of the comments I do have to mention is the pain of trying to get up all of those steps. And I think whether you're 60 or 6 months or 6 years old, that would be true, definitely true. Okay, can we get to the next slide, please? When we talk about visiting a home or using our own space, we usually do what we call a tour of the home. And everybody's tour starts as when they come in, the exterior of the home. How can we ensure that there's access for all? Basically, you have to look at how we get in, and that's going to be steps or no steps. And we, for the HomeFit program, what we're looking at is it's ideal to have a 0-step or no step entry. What you're seeing here is a 0-step or no step entry. I want you to think about going to your favorite store, your bank. Commercial design, public design has to incorporate a 0-step entry by law into any building. But homes aren't regulated that way. So what we have to do is take it on to ourselves. So the goals are for safety as well. We're going to get into that with what stairs can do, but how can we change our entrances so that we can make them, if not 0-step and easy to get into? What are our alternate plans for doing that? Next slide, please. If we have steps, and most of us do, what could we do to make it easier for most people to get in? Steps do not allow for someone who uses wheeled mobility to get in safely. We go back to that 0-step slide. What I want to mention that I forgot is that it doesn't have to be the front door. You can do a 0-step entry at a back door, a side door, or through the garage as well. Sometimes the front door is not the best place to look at. So when you look at your own home, look for where the best place might be to get in. Now back to steps, what we're looking at here are what are called walker steps. And walker steps are an alternative getting into the home. What it allows us to do is make a step that is less rise, so it's only 4 inches. You will typically see steps have 6, 6.5, sometimes up to 8 inches of elevation, depending on what the code was when those steps were made, down to a 4-inch rise, and think about it being twice as deep. You know, they may be up to 20-some inches in depth from front to back. That allows somebody to put a walker on that step and walk up without trying to balance on. Think about a step that's the usual customary about 11 inches wide. You can't put a walker or cane on safely. This allows you to do that or not use your walker and use the side rails to get up. One of the important points on this is also look at the top, look at the porch. Notice that at that point, you get into the door at a 0-step entry. So you want to make sure that that rise that's at the door is also considered when you're evaluating your home for entry door access. Next slide, please. If you can't do walker steps or it's not feasible to get into the home using steps, and you are using wheeled mobility, knee surgery, hip surgery, wheeled mobility because of a exhaustion issue, and you can't grade your sidewalk to get into a 0-step, one of your solutions would be then to utilize a ramp. But ramps are very particular. Ramps have to be built for them to be used correctly and used by people that use wheeled mobility. They have to be graded. And that means that for every inch of step, every inch of elevation you have from ground to that bottom door entry, is what we call a 1 to 12 grade. In other words, for every inch of elevation, there is 1 foot of ramp. So if you had 12 inches of elevation, you would need 12 feet of ramping. So the ability to utilize a ramp is also dependent on the amount of space that you have that can accommodate that ramp. So sometimes the ramp would not be able to be what you see here, a straight shot up to the door. You might see, and you've seen it in public spaces in some homes as you pass, what I call a zigzag ramp. Part of it's going to go down to a landing and then it's going to turn and zigzag in the other direction. So that is the other reason you need to really have a professional evaluate what you need and then how to do it. We utilize occupational therapists to evaluate the home, and you need to have a certified contractor that would be able to build the ramp to that grade. One of the other ramps that you see here on the far right is a threshold ramp. And we talked about that little step that goes into the house. Most every house has that unless you built to 0 grade. And this is a small ramp that allows you to get over that elevation, whether you're walking up it or you're going to wheel into the door. That's, well, not into the door, but through the door. That's what we would utilize to be that threshold ramp. Next slide, please. Well, if you can't do a ramp, you don't have the space for that, or perhaps it's because you want to use the space in the garage to get into the house and you don't want to take up the entire garage with a ramp. Remember, if I've got 8 inches of step into my garage door into the house, I'm going to need 8 feet of ramp, double that. If I have 16 inches, I need 16 feet of ramp. There goes my garage. This is a platform lift, a vertical platform lift. It will take you up to that threshold door level, that porch or that entry into the door from the garage, and it will allow you to, a small elevator to get into that space, onto that landing, into the door without taking up a lot of space, or you don't have the space in your front yard, side yard, backyard to do that much of extensive ramping. Again, this is professionally evaluated and professionally installed, but when you think about it, it allows somebody safe exit and entry into the home and for a variable amount of people. The other good thing, back to ramps and this and changing out steps, is it's a heck of an easy thing for moving that piano into the house. It allows you to do it without having to zigzag and carry. Next slide, please. Exterior lighting and address numbers, easy fix, and something that everybody needs to think about. If an emergency situation occurs and somebody's got to find your house, or nowadays you want to make sure your Amazon delivery gets there and gets to the right house, large lit numbers at the doorway allow for that. And you see about the size proportionally at this, with this illustration, we're talking large numbers, so that somebody from the street in the middle of the day can tell that that is 123 Jane Pauley Lane, you know, that you could get into that house easily in an emergency situation, or just your friend who's never been there can find your house. The other thing about entryways is to have motion detector lighting, or sunset lighting, we call it, so that the lights come on as soon as it becomes dusk, so that you have a safe entryway in and out of the home. These are, again, quick fixes. And also that what you see here is a chair, sometimes, or a bench. It allows you to put your packages down so that you can access into the home, open up the door, come back, get your packages and go in, so you're not fumbling around, especially if you're coming in at night or you know, you want to get into a hurry. The other thing that you see, and I'll mention really quickly, is an overhang over the door, the little awning. It allows you then to get in if it's inclement weather without trying to be in such a hurry that you end up falling and injuring yourself. Pathway lighting is also a good idea. So if you have an entry to your home that you can line with pathway lighting, that also allows for people to get in safely and get out safely, or reflective glow in the dark material. And now it goes back to Karen.
Thanks, Diane. All right, so we're going to talk very quickly, not too much time, on the new smart home technology that is available. If you can move to the next slide. We are going to do a poll. So could you tell us in the poll, do you currently have any smart home features in your home? And then using chat after you do that poll, if you can tell us if you do have them, what are they? So we'll wait for just a second here and see if we get any answers to our poll question. All right, I'm not seeing this anything happen with this, so I'm just going to keep going. So smart home technology might not be for everyone. You know, some things are totally not intuitive for older adults who have never used it before. But if it's something that you, oh, here's our answers. So do you currently have any smart home features in your home? 55% do not, 38% do, and 8% are thinking about it. And let me take a look at the chat and see what people are saying that they have in their home here. We have folks who Google Home Assistant, the Ring doorbell, thermostat, camera, electronic door lock. Wow, all kinds of things. Web-enabled thermostat, Nest, which are various things, Ring doorbell, lighted path. So for those of you who don't have it, who aren't comfortable with it or just haven't tried it yet, there are all kinds of interesting things that you can try. Go ahead and go to the next slide real quick here. One of the things that I want to point out is that these virtual home assistants can help with safety. They can do things like turning on and off your TV, or you can ask it to play music or adjust the thermostats. But they can also place telephone calls. So say you're that person who has fallen and you can't get up and you don't have a phone with you. You know, if you have an Alexa or whatever the various ones are, you can ask it to call 911 or to call for help. So that is an excellent source of safety for you. It can also help provide reminders. It can help provide reminders for things like medicine or other things. Okay, next slide. All right, it can also help you with things like lights. Lighting is very important. Having good lighting can help you not fall, help you not bump into things. But falling is one of those things that we want to avoid at all, for all things. Sometimes it can be the beginning of the downslide if you fall and break things. So this is another safety feature of the smart home. All right, I guess we're moving to doors. All right, well, sure, we can move on to the doorways. So being able to get in and out of your home is, key. Diane talked a little bit about, the ramps and everything, getting you up to the doorway. Now you need to be able to get through the doorway. Nope, go back. I guess you can go forward. The doorways, universal design doorways are wide enough for wheeled mobility to get through. Most exterior doors are 32 inches or wider, but internal doors are not that wide. Most many internal, like bathroom doors, are anywhere between 22 and 24 inches wide. Now, if you do use wheeled mobility, this is where you can have trouble getting through any of these doors. Actually, if you are in a wheelchair and it's one of the larger wheelchairs, even 32 inches can be difficult to get through without if you're moving yourself on the sides, or sometimes just even if you're not. This is where these swing clear hinges, which are an option to provide a little more clearance. And what we mean by that, if you open the normal door with a normal hinge, that door will take up 2 to 3 inches of space within that door frame. So if you have a 32-inch wide doorway, you only have 29 to 30 inches of clearance. These swing clear hinges will allow, made so that they allow the door to swing completely away, leaving the entire door width available for you to go through. One thing to remember is that these hinges, the door does have to swing past 90 degrees. So you can't be swinging up against a wall. It has to be a little bit past that 9 degrees to be able to open all the way, to allow that full clearance. We discovered when my husband had knee surgery or had knee replacements that a typical walker that's on wheels will not go through a 24-inch bathroom door. One that's not wheeled will. So I ended up having to go get the unwheeled kind for him to navigate the bathrooms for his various knee surgeries. And those swing clear hinges are inexpensive. You can pick those up at the big box stores, a Home Depot or Lowe's type place, for not a whole lot of money. You can go to the next one. All right, so again, we're talking safety here. So video peepholes, if you don't have a window near your front door, peepholes can help you look out and see who's there. So you aren't opening the door to someone who you don't know is there. Video doorbell, some of you said you had those. And they can help you look out, see who's there. You can answer the door through the video doorbell, even if you're not home. You can see if packages have been left. You can see what the weather's like if you're in an interior room with no windows. Also, the handles and the locks. You can have a digital door lock, which is a smart home option. My 94-year-old mother loves hers. You just have to remember the code, which she has occasionally forgotten. But you just press a couple buttons and her door actually pops open. She doesn't have to touch it or anything. It actually opens for her. I don't know if they're all like that or not. Lever style handles are easier. As we get older, none of those fine motor skills are harder to do, or you have arthritis and it's painful to grab a knob and turn it. So those lever style handles are excellent. You can use your arm or your elbow to push down and push the door open. So let's go to the next one. So entry spaces, you can go ahead to the next slide. I want to make sure we have plenty of time here, and Diane has a couple of vital things. So I'm going to skip this next slide and go to Diane for the kitchen.
Diane in the kitchen. Oh boy. Diane is in the kitchen. No. Anyway, doesn't matter how many rooms a home has. It tends to be that the kitchen is the place where we gather. We need to get to, whether you're the person who does the cooking. Oh, back to the first slide, please. Yes. Yep. So anyway, it is a hub of the home. And when we do this in live venues, what we often ask is how many people, raise your hands. So if we can do a quick thing in the chat, if you can just say, yeah, I use our kitchen is like that. It is our main area in the home. It would be interesting that we will see a great majority of the people saying that that's the case. But aside from the place that we gather, it is the place where there are a lot of hazards if they're not looked at correctly for long-term living. And even in whether you're the person who does the cooking or someone else does it for you, there's some safety features that we'd like to go over with you to make sure that the home is safe and accessible, especially in the kitchen area. Okay, we'll take that other slide. Next one. I love the way we word this. It may be that your desire to cook could change as you move on in life. Also, the number of people that you're cooking for. I remember it was really, when my last went off to college even, it was really difficult to cook just for 2 people. And leftovers 3 days later aren't the same thing. But whether you're cooking for 1 or you're cooking for 2 or 4, safety features in the kitchen that can make things easier for you as well as safer is think about the way that you do things. What you're seeing here is taking an area and making sure that there's a seated space in the kitchen. In the area where you do the prep for the kitchen, there might not be direct access to the table. You can easily add, or if you had to remove an under cabinet space and put a counter space in that allows you to sit while you do tasks. The other thing this allows for is a prep space for somebody who has to use wheeled mobility. The depth of back to front amount of space and floor to edge space of that lower area for someone wheeled mobility is specific. So it asks that you have a professional assess that for you, make sure that you can use that space. But what I want you to look at is if you're sitting at that space and you look next to it, you have drawer storage. So I can open up the drawer, reach for the product, put the item that I'm going to be using, the tool, put it on the counter space and do what I need to do. Maybe turn around, and where the edge of our screen is could be where the stovetop is, or where the next place I'm going to continue to roll out my pie dough or whatever it's going to be. So look at your spaces and just reimagine them. And how can we work in our kitchen so that we can do the tasks we want to do? The other thing this slide shows is to the left, what you're seeing is a vertical pantry. So when that door opens, you can have pull-out shelving where your products are. So you need your baking soda, and you pull out a drawer that actually, a shelf that slides like a drawer. That door opens all the way. You pull out what you need, and you're not bending to lift and carry or reaching above or getting on a step stool to do the tasks that you do in the kitchen. Let's go to the next slide, please. Kind of talked a little bit about this already, but you want to make sure that you have adjustable lighting easy for use. You can put lighting underneath the upper cabinetry. It's touch lighting. I have that in my own kitchen. You take your hand, you just touch up, and it lights underneath the cabinetry, and it lights down to your work surface. What you also see here are some other features where the refrigerator is not only the split door refrigerator, but you also see the two drawers. This type of French door refrigerator allows you to use drawers to get into spaces. If you're seated while you're doing tasks, that's much easier than trying to move sideways into a refrigerator to get items out. A bottom freezer and the middle drawer can be, some of them allow you to be either refrigerator or freezer. What you're seeing further to the right are pull-out shelving in the lower cabinetry. You're also seeing a double door oven. The upper oven usually is a little bit smaller, but it allows you to cook your regular meals. What you usually can't put into it is a 20-pound turkey, which most of us maybe aren't making so much anymore, or you ask to be invited to the other person's house this time for dinner, but this type of oven will allow you to do that. I'm going to bring up two other features. What you're seeing are controls at the front of the stove oven, not at the back where the wall is, because those require you to reach over if there's a flame, you're going to be reaching over the cooktop to get to that. The last thing I want you to notice on this is that you do not see a microwave above the stove for those same reasons, which would be safety and reaching above your head to move something hot out of the microwave. Prefer to be on the counter. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Next slide. Basically, handles. You're going to look for something that's a D handle or a horizontal handle like you see on the drawers, easy to pull with just fingers, not a grasp. We also now have lever handles for most of your kitchen sinks, or what's very cool is the sensory touch one where you can touch with the back of your hand to turn on and off, hot and cold. Next slide, please. This is a really good layout of the things we just talked about. You'll see this in the HomeFit guide. The arrows indicate the things that we were talking about for safety and use. What you're seeing over here, this might be new to some people at the very far right-hand side, is you can even get dishwashers that are drawered dishwashers. So you have an upper one, so you're not cleaning a lot of dishes at this meal, or it's yourself or one other person. You've got a drawer. The other thing, which is coming back, it's very, very, very stylish to have, is open shelving. So we have a few little open shelves here. So your commonly used items, you don't even have to dig into a drawer or a shelf for. They're out right in front of you so that you can get to them easily. Next slide. The bathroom. Okay. If there's a place that is not forgiving, it's the bathroom. A slip and fall in the bathroom equals injury, whether it's a bruise or that you could be knocked out. It happens quite often. And if you're going to hit something, it's going to be something that's ceramic, something that it might be an iron tub. It could be anything. So the things that you're going to hit in the bathroom are going to hurt you. Let's go to the next slide. So we want to make it as safe as possible. What we've come up with here are a few suggestions that if you have to modify your bathroom, these are quick fixes that still allow you to have the bathroom be safe. We'll go from the top left corner down. If you had to elevate your toilet seat to get on and off of it, or to perhaps push off from and have something sturdy to hold onto, and it's not putting a grab bar in a wall, the over the toilet commode chair will work. By having the handles on each side, you have safety grab bars basically to push off from. It is an elevated seat. You remove the bucket that's below for when it's used at bedside, put it over the toilet. You usually have adjustable legs as well. And that will allow you to use it over the toilet without replacing the toilet. Going to the right, you have what we're showing here is a stepless shower, a shower that has been replaced. Most of the time you'll have in your older showers at least a 4-inch step into the shower. This is a unit that is prefabricated to allow you to replace your shower with one that has no step into it. In this one, we're just showing you that you have a bench, a grab bar, the control is right near where you will be seated, and the handheld control is on what we call a diverter rod. It allows you to place that control where it's most convenient for you so that you can reach it and use it as you're showering. The picture to the lower left, what's on the bottom there is called a toilet elevator. It's 2 words put together. It raises your toilet from the bottom, so you can get a comfort height toilet height by just putting this in. It's a cost-effective device, and you don't have to replace your whole toilet. And then, of course, there are very, very wide array of transfer benches. What this one allows you to do that you see on the right lower corner is that allows you to sit from the outside of the tub, sit down on the bench, swing your legs over, slide, you're seated the whole time, and you slide over. No stepping over, standing over. You can see that you have your grab bar, for lack of a better term, handles on the side, and the entry spot and inside the tub to help you to slide and to stand when you exit. Next slide, please. Grab bars are very cool right now. There's a lot of them that are very design effective, and they don't have to look institutional. These are 3 different types of grab bars. They come in different colors now. They sometimes incorporate multi-purpose. For instance, the one that looks like a toilet paper roll holder is a toilet paper roll holder, and the top part of it is a grab bar. You must make sure that it does say that it is a grab bar. The second one is a soap holder that is also placed in the shower so that you can have your soap held, and you have the ability to reach at all different angles with this type of grab bar. And the one on the bottom is a typical one. The correct installation of a grab bar is extremely important. Grab bars have to be placed with specific backing on the wall so that they do not pull out, help you to cause another injury. So you need to have a professional do that for you. You also want to make sure that you do have a grab bar that meets standards. So it's not something that you simply just go and get without actually looking for the safety features. The other thing is that research indicates that if you place a grab bar parallel to the floor, it's safer than placing it at an angle or on a vertical. Depends on where it is, and again, why you need a professional. There are grab bars that are what I call an L shaped or a backwards L, and they do allow you to use those a little bit differently. So consult with an occupational therapist or physical therapist to find out what works best for what your needs are in your particular bathroom. Also, if you go to the HomeFit guide, there are lots of different bathroom modifications discussed on pages 22 and 23 that can help you make your bathroom much more safe. Next slide, please. Living spaces. Okay, well, what we have to look at here is times have changed. And if this year hasn't taught us that, space that used to be many a bedroom is now either a schoolroom or an office space, or maybe it's where mom, or grandma, or the grandchildren have come to live because it's easier to take care of people during the week when all the busyness of children being at home when they were at school needs to be taken care of. So repurposing space is not just happening for people who are aging in place. It's happening for the entire world community at this point. So what we want you to look at when you go to your home is to look at your different areas. Some areas, obviously, the bathroom is a bathroom, the kitchen is a kitchen, but your living room, your dining room, that extra bedroom, a laundry room area, you can look at those rooms and say, what else can I do here that's going to allow me to be safer or be more productive or have someone else be able to come into the house? What can I do with this space? So let's look at how we can be more purposefully directed with our different spaces. This slide also shows you what other considerations you have to make. So what you need to look at is, do we have a rug that can be moved? If I do, look at that green star there. We need to have a rubber matting underneath it so it doesn't slip over, so I might trip on it. If you look to the left green star, that's a cord covering device so that you don't trip over a cord that you might have to go across the room for it to be plugged. Another solution that people use is to actually put a plug in the floor. Let's say you have wood flooring in the home, that you can actually put a plug where your, sometimes where a TV would be, sometimes it's where a light would be. So there are some other options there. You also want to make sure you have the right amount of space between furnishings so that people can get by safely without tripping over the leg of a piece of furniture. You want to, excuse me, you want to avoid furniture back. You want to avoid furniture that has sharp corners, and you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind it's not just how you do things, but what about the people that will be coming to your house. Now we can go to the next slide. Okay, lighting and electrical. The use of natural light, open up those shades in the windows, let as much natural light in as you can. It's an easy fix. Look at what kind of window coverings you have and can you get as most light in as possible. Big deal is night lights are motion sensor detected lighting. So if you had to get up in the middle of the night and you're headed to the bathroom, have a light that turns on as you enter the room. And then have a light that allows you to, when you leave, the light goes out. These are also rocker switches, which allow you to just hit them with your elbow or not a grip pinch. So we want to look at those as well. Next slide. This is just about repurposing space again. You want to make sure that you make the space work for what you need to do in that space and be creative. How can I change this space to work for me? Next slide, please. Stairs. I'm going to go through this as succinctly as I can because I know we're getting close to running out of time. Biggest when I say safety feature is to look at your stairs and make sure that you have bilateral railings. That'll assist you if you have any problem on one side of the body or the other, if you have to use a cane, and having bilateral grip on stairs has been scientifically researched and proven to be much safer than trying to navigate with just one side. So do bilateral railings. If you have to you need more stair space to move something, you just take the railing off and put it back on. The other thing that's very important is to try to have motion sensor lighting on stairs. So in an emergent event, the lights will come on so that you can see where you're going. That you have the tips of the stairs be a different color than all the stairs. So when you're at the top looking down, they don't just run into each other. It gives you a good visual. The other thing is to make sure that if you have open stairs where the back of the stair is open, that gets closed so that your foot doesn't catch and cause a slip and fall or a trip. And that you can utilize both hand railings and not have to worry about where your feet are. Next slide. If you have a main bathroom on the upper floor of the home or that's the only place the bedrooms are, something that you may want to consider would be a stair glide, which is what you're seeing here. They do require a professional consultation. They do require professional installation. So like Karen mentioned in the beginning of the program, if that's where your bathroom is and it allows you to stay in your home, the expense of the stair glide allows you to stay. And it's a smaller expense compared to what it would be to have to leave the home. So don't not consider it. The other thing is that they are also available used through professional vendors, and they are something that you have to have the right amount of space at the bottom where it lands and at the top where it lands. Another reason to have a professional help you determine if it works for your house. Next slide, please. Laundry room. Okay. Where you do your laundry can then be another way to repurpose space. Nowadays, when they're building new homes, they put the laundry what they call point of use. It will be in the master closet. It will be in the master bathroom. Look at where your laundry is. If it's in a basement or lower level, can you move it to a bathroom area? Can you move it to a closet area in the hallway? Can you move it where it's closer to where the space that you're going to be taking the clothes would be? One thing I want you to do is do not consider stackable units if you are able to look at ones that have controls at the very front, top and lower area, because it may be easier to reach down and in and then over into the dryer than it is to bend and move something out of a deep front loader washer. You can raise them up as this illustration does show, but you still have to bend and you have to reach far in to be able to get clothing out. You should decide, is that easier for me to do? Will it be in the long run? The other thing is to be flexible, be able to use things that can move. You'll see the moving cart there. That sorting or folding table can be put on wheels and moved next to the washer or to the dryer area. And the hanging drying clothes device can be put at wherever your reach is. So consider that so that you're not just using the space because that's where it's always been. And some people end up using that stair glide that we just looked at to access a lower level living space or a basement area, because that's the only way they're going to be able to bring something up or down, because you can't hold on to the stairs and carry something at the same time. Okay, I think I move over to Karen on this one.
All right. I am actually going to skip this slide, and then because we only have about 7 minutes left, we want to be able to get to resources, which I understand they're going to copy and paste these resources into the chat, so that but there are a couple I want to draw your attention to. So AARP has all kinds of information available. Nope, go back one real quick. Nope. Nope, wrong way. There you go. So AARP, our website, aarp.org/livable, has all kinds of great information. We also have specific to the HomeFit presentation, you can go to aarp.org/HomeFit. The foundation has a very interesting guide, a step-by-step guide about home maintenance. I want to draw your attention to, when we talk about resources, one of your best resources are going to be occupational therapists. HomeFit, what Diane does, what a lot of OTs do, is really HomeFit. They help people figure out how they can safely stay in their homes. And then the last thing I want to talk about are the Certified Aging in Place Specialists, which is a National Home Builders Association designation. After they do, people can take like a 4-day class and the test and get certified. I want to say that not all CAPS, which are called CAPS, people are created the same. You want to look for, a CAPS certified occupational therapist, not just someone who has the CAPS designation. You want to, it matters. So with that, I just want to say, You can find the HomeFit guide on the website, and we have like 5 minutes for questions. I saw that there was a question. Diane, this is one
I knew
for
you were going to
you.
throw that to me.
Can you address a few issues with persons who have cognitive difficulties staying in the home?
Sure. Safety, number one. A couple of things that you have especially would be the ability to, if there's people who might wander, you want to make sure that you have alarms at the doors that allow for, any caregiver to know. There's a lot of high tech, and I should say high tech, low tech, but technology that allows you to know what's going on in the home. What the biggest things is less clutter, more organization, things look the same, different colors in the walls of the rooms. There are a lot of resources. If you go to, and I would suggest, and this would address the question above that too, that's talking about home sharing while maintaining some separation of privacy. This cognitive and dementia modifications are a big deal and have been working on for a long time in the UK. So if you Google your question and then your last letters in your question are UK sites, then you'll probably find a plethora of information in terms of the questions that you're asking.
All right, I just want to mention that one of the participants here, Rob Fleming, talked about, he calls it his stripper pole, but it's the super pole that we used to have.
I heard that.
that we used to have in the old program. He says he loves it. It doesn't attach with screws and stuff. It's pressure mounted, I guess you could say. So you might want to talk about that real quick. And I can tell anybody else have a question, please put them in the question and answer tab here.
Yeah, we've also got, while you're answering that, I'll bring Sarah on. She has her hand raised.
Okay.
The super pole is, if you think about it, and that's a really good way to describe it, but a lot of people may not know what, like a pole dancing pole would look like. But basically, if I always use the example of pole lamps from the 1950s, that's exactly, take the lamps off. And what you have is a pole that goes from the ceiling to the floor, and it has an attachment, if necessary, of a horizontal pole to it, which can be placed at any level that's comfortable for you. And what it does is most people place it bedside or in the bathroom, and when you're sitting, you have that horizontal pole. As you come up to standing, it moves, so it's you directed. So if you're moving out, so that you can get out of the bathroom or into the tub, so just look up super pole and Google it. And there's, again, I would recommend, even though it is a tension rod thing, that you could have it installed by a professional.
Great. Sarah is on now. Sarah?
Okay.
Sarah, did you have a question?
Oh, she must be muted.
No, she's unmuted. Oh, well, her hand was raised for quite some time. So anyways,
That was in response to when you asked for hand raising.
oh, okay. Okay,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
thanks.
All right. What else? So architects should be included in our resources. Yes. There are many specialists who specialize in universal design and can address the aesthetics of installation. That's more of a comment. What resources are available for people who want to renovate their home to do home sharing while still maintaining some separation and privacy? I think that's kind of beyond.
HomeFit, but no, I did answer that one. They do it a lot. That's been done in the Scandinavian countries, a tremendous amount, and as well as in the UK. So if you knowing what you're looking for, Google and put UK Scandinavian countries. Same thing with Dementia Village, UK Scandinavian countries, and you'll see a lot of suggestions there.
All right. Any special considerations for condos or apartments? I mean, I know apartments, you have to check with your landlord before you do any kind of permanent changes. Condos are, well, you own a condo. So I guess you have to check with your association to do anything out front. I think inside you could do whatever you wanted. I don't know that much about condos.
The most difficult thing about condos is there's usually isn't a skosh more room for anything. You know, that everything is designed so specifically, you know, that when I'm looking to do modifications, I'm looking to see if there's a closet behind this space, so, you know, so that where you can expand. So if you're living in a condo, like Karen said, your inside is usually yours to do. But look at that, and that's where you may need to have a professional say, no, it's not a big deal to move this here or to do that here, because there just usually isn't that extra space. So you may want to remove a tub to put in a shower, remove a linen closet, those kind of things.
So last but not least, I think one of the questions that I saw, which is of particular interest, and I had it for my village, is that villages want the presentation to their members. So what would you suggest? An outreach to their local AARP chapter?
Reach out to me, have them, just, you can put my email address in the chat, or I can, I guess, you know, I'm on an iPad. So kcaffinterrace@aarp.org. And if we're doing it virtually, I can do it, or one of our many occupational therapist volunteers can do it. I'm not going to volunteer Diane, she had to volunteer herself. But we
I'll
do
do it.
have many of the state offices, most are doing, at least in some areas, are doing HomeFit presentations also. This is they've just updated this presentation. So actually this is the first time it's been done. I think it's a little tight to try to do it in an hour because we're running a little bit over, and we skipped some stuff. We skipped a lot of stuff that we didn't want to skip, but in the matter of for time, we had to.
Well, we do appreciate it. I know it was fast. You guys are talking like you're from New Jersey. Seriously.
It's funny, when I do go to the UK, they do say we do talk too fast. So it's,
Well, thank you both so much, and hope you
Thank you.
join us for the continued next conferences. There's a lot of chatter. As always, the HomeFit is such a popular program and a useful tool for many of us who want to age in place in our homes. So thank you all very much.
welcome.
We
Thank you.
are
You're
going to
welcome.
be taking a 15-minute well-deserved break. Everybody can run away, and we'll come back, and you'll be able to come and talk to our board of directors, Village to Village Network. So thank you all.
Hey, Barbara. I'm just moving some of the panel or the board members over to the panel.
Okay, do you have everybody? You have the,
Let's see, it looks like if Peggy Simpson.
Yep.
Could she raise her hand? Because I'm not seeing her in the, is that Janet Simpson by any
no,
chance?
no, it's Peggy Simpson.
Okay,
You're still recording too, just FYI. I didn't know if you
Oh.
meant to do that.
now let me pause that.